It's the 49ers Cutback.
It's 49ers Cutback Podcast time. And you know what they always say? Where there's smoke, there's fire. And I'm starting to see a little bit of smoke on this topic. I know everyone has talked about it, but I've been waiting for it to actually get serious. I think this might be serious. I think Deshaun Watson is actually in the 49ers sights. I don't know if it's actually going to happen, but by golly, they're making a move or something. They're at least talking about this, and he wants out of Houston, Horst.
Yeah, I really thought this was one of those stupid things that was going to go away after a day or two. You know, you hear stuff all the time. Oh, this guy wants to be traded. Oh, we heard during the season Julio Jones was coming to San Francisco, and there's a multitude of other guys we've heard over the years. From, the Barry Sanders one in the mid-'90s, even though it turned out it was true. He wanted to go there.
I hate you, Detroit.
But it didn't happen. Things like that. But yeah, I'm starting to agree with you that there is a little bit of fire where the smoke started, because very reputable reporters are now starting to chime in on this and say it's definitely true that he wants out of there. Right. That's become obvious. Right. And we've had some very reputable guys mention the 49ers as a trade partner. They're not the only one. There's several of them. But I'm starting to think there's a chance.
There is absolutely a chance. I think this is entirely a possibility. If you had asked me literally a day or so ago, I probably would have been like, nah. But after everything that's come out and the people who have said the things that they have said, I think the Watson era could be pretty darn close here to being a reality in San Francisco. But what is that going to cost, guys?
Once Shefty puts it out there.
That's true. I mean, my first thoughts when I heard that the Watson trade was even a possibility was it's just going to cost too much. We're going to give up too many picks. The money that he makes is going to be too much. And the first initial, picks that they were saying were 3 1s and 3 2s, which is absolutely ridiculous. This isn't the movie Draft Day. This stuff doesn't happen in that regard. Mike Ditka is not running the 49ers organization.
True. So
these trades just don't happen. But now it's starting to get to more realistic thoughts, talking about the fact that the new GM of the Texans really comes from the Patriot land. He likes Jimmy Garoppolo. He drafted Jimmy Garoppolo. So now the talks of Jimmy going in a possible trade start to make sense. And Jimmy plus picks, high picks, of course, because Deshaun Watson is an elite quarterback that's only 25 years old, led the league in passing, almost 5,000 yards with a little over 4,800, 33 touchdowns to only 7 interceptions. This guy had a fantastic season on a very bad team.
Yeah.
And if you insert him into the 49ers lineup, yeah, you're right. These guys are NFC champion caliber again. Horse, what compensation do you give up for that kind of player, though?
Well, I go back, when you think of him as a player, my favorite quote about him was Dabo Swinney's before the draft, when he said, if you get him, you're getting the Michael Jordan of football. No, I don't quite think he'll ever reach those heights. Dabo Swinney's a guy that's opinion I trust, and I think wouldn't say that just because the guy played for him. But compensation-wise, people have to understand, once again, this is not Madden. Those draft picks are very important, every one of them, especially a first-round pick. But you can't just give away 6, 7 draft picks for a guy. Especially with how much money he's going to be making, we're going to need to rely on more young rookie contract guys in other positions. We're going to be paying this cat, between 35 and 40 million a year.
Yeah.
And I think the salary cap will eventually go back up. I think this is only going to be a 1, maybe 2 season issue with the low salary cap. So that doesn't scare me. It's just you can't give up your whole future for one guy. So when I see those 3 firsts, 3 seconds, no. The other thing, don't mention Bosa or Kittle for him. Those guys are cornerstones of the franchise. I think that would be silly to give up those guys. Now, maybe if they took Bosa straight up for him with no draft pick compensation, they're not going to. I'm just saying, maybe then. I still wouldn't give up Kittle under any circumstance.
Hold on a second. What's that? The comments section is literally on fire after that. After that hot take, my word, Horse, that was impressive.
But the trade that sounds reasonable to me would be Garoppolo, and this year's one with a second, hopefully next year's second. That sounds reasonable to me. If they won't accept that, then I'd tell them to kick rocks, because he's a very good player. He's a fantastic player. It's nothing against him. It's just you can't mortgage your whole future for one guy.
I agree with you. You cannot do that. It's imperative that the Niners really evaluate what those picks are worth, because they plug a lot of holes. You can go get a corner early this year's draft. If you don't give up that pick and shore up your secondary almost immediately, if you get the right guy. However, Deshaun Watson is one of those guys who's a generational kind of talent. And 2 firsts probably isn't out of the realm of possibility for what you're asking. But if I'm the Niners and you have to give up 2 firsts, I want a little bit more assurances other than Deshaun Watson. So if they are serious about this trade, it is going to cost them 2 firsts. That's right, boys. I'm going full sell. Get J.J. Watt in San Francisco right freaking now. Get that guy here. That shores up your D-line with 100% certainty. Yeah, he's probably only got 1 or 2 great years left in him before his twilight starts to hit, and you still get good production out of J.J. Watt, but he is a guy who desperately wants out too. Both of them want out really, really bad, and you know J.J. Watt wants to go to a contender. Come home, J.J. Come to San Francisco.
You wouldn't even know what to do with him.
Get over here. Get into San Francisco immediately. If we can find a way to pull that off, even if you have to give up 2 firsts in order to do it and maybe another player, get J.J. Watt into San Francisco with Deshaun Watson. Whew, I might pass out. I might faint from excitement. Who knows?
Can we get the Archer too?
I think it's going to take a lot to get him, and I think it's going to be 2 firsts and a player. The question is, what player is that going to be? Is it Jimmy Garoppolo? Do they just make the trade? Is Jimmy and 2 firsts? I think that the compensation would be okay, because the second first, if you get Deshaun Watson, the 2022 first round pick will be somewhere around the late 20s to early 30s, could be 32nd. So that is, if that happens, it's completely worth it. Now the question is, do they want Jimmy Garoppolo, or would they rather have a first round talent like a Javon Kinlaw? Could you see them making the 3 first round picks, making it Javon Kinlaw and 2 first round picks, possibly for this guy, and then trading Jimmy for other areas, where they can improve the team? I think that is a possibility. So is it a lot to give up? Yes. I'll be honest, I was completely against it about a week ago. I'm slowly coming around to the idea, because I really liked him in college, and then the more that I've thought of the idea of just him, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, the way that he can scramble and move the move the pocket, he's going to be amazing with Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers. If Kyle does make this move and John Lynch, then they have definitely did their due diligence, and they know what it would mean for the 49ers, and they expect them to win right away. So I would give up Kinlaw and 2 firsts, or Jimmy and 2 firsts, whatever they wanted to do. I don't want to lose Kinlaw, but I would do it to get an elite talent like this. You've already proven you can win with other defensive linemen. You could do this.
I think I'd be good with that. Either of those trades.
I haven't heard anyone mention Kinlaw. This is just kind of off.
No,
it's off the cuff. It's a good one. It's not necessarily a bad thing. The guy I was thinking that you could potentially sweeten the deal if you can prove he's healthy and they're willing to take a risk, or if they're that desperate to get off J.J. Watt, maybe a D Ford.
Yeah, they're gonna have to figure out a way to make the money work. That's why Jimmy makes the most sense, because of the money.
Yeah.
Works. But I think that Kinlaw could sweeten the deal. Maybe Jimmy, Kinlaw, and another first round pick. Maybe that's
and
the
then you
deal.
send over JJ and everything's fine.
He will not back off the JJ Watt. He wants JJ Watt. And Horse, do you want JJ Watt? Is JJ Watt somebody that you're interested in having on the D line?
Not under the salary he's making.
Yeah.
They're gonna cut him. They're going to release him. If they release him, I agree. Full court press.
Yeah.
After J.J. Watt, especially if D Ford's. This is if D Ford's out of the picture. Because
I think you do it even if D Ford's in the picture, just as an insurance policy.
So how much money do you want to spend on the D line per year? Half the cap?
I'm fine with it. I'm fine with
Too
it.
much money.
Well,
in one
it
position.
depends because J.J. Watt is at a point of his career where he's made money, and this is an interesting guy.
No, but he's talking about in a trade.
I get it.
You don't
but
think that he would get you really believe if the Niners made the deal for him, knowing full well that hey, there's a lot of money tied up, that he wouldn't be willing to restructure?
I'm sure he would. I just don't know what I see. That also we're not taking into consideration is the cap hit for the Texans.
It's true.
If they have a huge cap hit from trading J.J. Watt, they might kind of sit back on that and wait.
Also true.
It might make more sense for them to cut him maybe even after June 1st.
Also
But just signing him as the 49ers, as an option for the 49ers might make sense, depending on what the amount of money is, because he's an interesting guy. He waited. He devoted all of his time, didn't have time for girls or anything. He was just real focused. And he really wants a championship. And he's made money. Money's not a concern for him. This is the prototypical guy that we talked about last year, about joining a team, being that Ricky Jackson type player that joins the team just to win a championship for the league minimum. I'm not saying he's going to come for the league minimum, but for a lower price, he might be. So he's someone that kick Armstead inside, play him as the every down out there, and I mean that's pretty awesome.
No, I agree. If you can get him for the lower price, absolutely. I'm a huge J.J. Watt fan, and I think he's a fantastic player. Better guy than he is player to go with it as well. So great guy to have in the locker room with their young defensive players.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a guy, say Kinlaw didn't get traded and all this happened, they got how awesome of a guy to have around Kinlaw and Bosa would he be?
Absolutely.
But I don't see it happening, but I'd love for it to.
A man can dream.
Agreed.
He can dream.
I think you'd have to sell the farm to get J.J. Watt and Deshaun Watson out of Houston in the same deal.
Or you work some magic.
What does that mean?
Yeah, I don't know what kind of.
Don't
magic
worry
that
about
is.
it.
That's some Theo Epstein type
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly. Lynch, earn your contract, buddy. Let's go. It's time.
But
Well,
Deshaun Watson, I mean, I want him. He's like you guys have said, he's a huge talent.
What do you guys think? Do you guys think Deshaun Watson is going to be on his way to San Francisco? Let us know in the comment section, and let us know what your trade deal would be. What would you give up to get Deshaun Watson? And would you go all the way in on J.J. Watt, or would you wait for him to get cut and then try to sign him if that's a possibility, or do you want him at all? Make sure you let us know in the comment section down below. And while you're at it, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single video just like this. Join the conversation right now.
Right now.
Do it right now.
Right now.
Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it. As always, stay tuned. Be here on the channel for more 49ers news and rumors. Stay safe and remember the right way
Is always
The 49ers way.